into the sports lorry.
Oh, amazing. Good evening, everyone. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the races into the lobby and all of the streams sorted out. We should be going. I've lost my words. We shouldn't be too long until we start going, but don't go anywhere. It's the finale of Tier 2 APPF1.
Oh, look at that weather.
Oh dear, that's two qualifyings in a row where it has been raining at the start of a qualifying session. Hello everybody and welcome back to APPF1 for tonight's dose of racing action. My name is Sumo and of course I am joined once again by my good friend and co-commentator Ghost. How are you doing, pal?
Oh, it's the last hurrah of F122, isn't it? So excited, very excited for this weekend. I'm getting myself a brand shiny new PS5 along with the new game. So I'm very much looking forward to the weekend. But let's enjoy what we've got left of F122 with a heavy rain quali around Imola.
Yes, I've just pre-purchased my copy of the game. 70 Great British Pounds. It's a rip-off, if I'm being honest with you, especially since we know how buggy the game is very much likely to be. But enough of ribbing on Codemasters. I do that plenty. It's the final round then of the season and the final race of F122 game, and we've had quite the year of Tier 2. We've crowned, what, two new champions perhaps, or maybe one new champion? I don't know, I can't remember. There's been many races. Ghost can update me on that in a moment. And we've had some great races to boot as well. But tonight we visit Imola, one of two Italian tracks on the Formula 1 calendar, and home to the Alpha Tauri team. 4.909 kilometers see us on a lap around this track that has a much more technical nature than Monza. Fast chicanes and tricky braking zones all make for some great racing around a truly classic track. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Indeed, it's a very tricky circuit. This a lot of corners where it can go wrong. A lot of corners where it's very difficult to find the right throttle input, the right braking zone. So I think we're going to see a lot of mistakes today, but only a 25% race since we've only got 8 in the lobby. But still, I'm sure it's going to be a very enjoyable one, and a good send-off to a game that many have not had the best experiences with. I don't think it's been as groundbreakingly awful as many people claim to be. I was here for the F1 2015 days. God, that game was bad.
Oh, yeah.
So, but, I'm sure people are raving about F1 23 and how the traction is so much better. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll have closer grids. I think that's the main thing for spectators' point of view.
Yes, hopefully so, and it'll mean that perhaps those on, I think those on the controller were the ones to suffer the most, I think, with the poor traction and such. But I'm sure that will be something remedied once the new game is fully underway in a few days' time. But let's take a look at the standings then for one final time. LB is your current leader in the championship. He sits on 143 points, just 20 points ahead of Robsu. So mathematically speaking, it's still on, but, well, LB would need to have an absolutely god-awful day, and Robsu, well, he'd have to finish second, I think, mathematically speaking, and maybe a bit fastest at minimum.
Well, the gap is 20 points, so Robsu would need second place and the fastest lap because LB would win on countback. So that's the stakes.
That is the stakes, and Lawrence has invalidated his first attempt on a lap out there, and Tiz, the only one opting for the Inters. Very bold strategy from the Mercedes, a wet master in his own right. But anyway, we move on. Lawrence then, after his crash in Imola, he's dropped way out of the championship, and I don't think he's going to be too mathematically involved, but he is mathematically involved with this man, Tier, who is vying for his 4th place in the championship at the moment. So Lawrence and Tier, they might be having a little bit of a bout out on the circuit this evening. And the two Williams boys, they're, well, I think there's only one of them out there. There is. JB didn't make it, so can Krauser get enough points to oust JBS Steve for 6th place? I'm sure he can. Then we've got Bergen in 8th, then there's Maniac Mango 9th, Buhiti Man's off the top 10, then there's J-Man, Tito Man, Womax, Little Manny Man, TTV Judith, Palang, Matthias Sox, Jackster, and Pommy Alex. Over to the Constructors' Championship now. It's 249 points to Red Bull, with the Ferrari outfit on 236. So 13 points between the two. Again, Red Bull, they'd need to have an awful day at the office in order for Ferrari to snatch it. And, well, I feel like it would be quite fitting for Tier 2 for Robsu to come out of left field and snatch it at the final hurdle. But we've got a lot of racing to go yet. We've got, 16, 18 laps around the Imola circuit and still 13 minutes of qualifying to go. But anything is possible.
Indeed it is, as Krauser sets the initial pace at 1:29.027 Tier on the Inters, but seems to be really struggling on those tyres, even on this outlap. But yeah, it's not going to be an easy one for Robsu to overturn. He's going to need at least one of the Red Bulls to DNF, and even then he would need a perfect race and a terrible race for the other Red Bull. So we'll see. As well, he does go pole for now at 28.1. I can't tell if the weather is getting better, but Tier is clearly not up to speed on those Inters yet. 2.2 seconds off. LB goes P2, just under 6/10 slower than Robsu. Yeah, it's the Drivers' Championship pretty much wrapped up, unless LB DNFs. Yeah, Constructors still to play for, and the good thing is with the Constructors that whoever wins it, it will be, I believe, I'm just going to double check, it will be the first Constructors titles in Tier 2 for them, I think, perhaps. I will just double check that. No, LB's won it before, but it would be the first Constructors victory for Lawrence, so there's that.
Yeah, there we go. Lawson's just got to play it safe. If I DNF, Rick won't let me live it down. Rick says you are correct, LB, in the chat. Yes. Gosh, there's a lot on stake for LB, and Tito Man set at 29.8, and I feel like there's definitely a lot more pace from everybody out there at the moment. Little Manny Man's finally out on track. Well, Max is retired. The Wonder Reserve has crashed just before. Oh, don't make me remember corner names at this time of day on a 20. I don't know how hot it is today.
Aqua Minerale.
Aqua Minerale, that's the one. I remember.
Yeah, it's very close on those Inters. It's definitely drying out, Sumo.
Yes, Tier is a great little lap there, 28.4 on the Inters, so the weather is easing up a little bit out there. Can he get ourselves... Whoa, not if he's doing that. We said, he jokingly said that we should do a 3-lap race out there, to which I answered, which lap does Tier crash on? And he replied, all of them. So don't do it, dear. We have this. I feel like it's deja vu every race. We say, Tyr, don't crash. You're doing well, and then what happens? He lets us down. That's what.
He does indeed, but we do love him here at APPF1, one of the great veterans of the league. I believe he probably isn't second place in terms of the number of races competed in anymore, because he only competes in Tier 2 these days, but definitely well up there, well over 120 races or so that El Tier has done with us, so he's been here a while.
For sure. He's a bit like Ferrari, isn't he? You know, he's been here a long time, but his reliability is questionable at best.
Yes.
And if any Tier fans are out there, they're probably also Ferrari fans. Or if they're not Ferrari fans, you at least understand the Ferrari fans' pain whenever you tune into Tier 2 and hope to see Tier at the top of the standings. That's probably what Scott felt like in Mexico the other week. But we move on. What's Rob Sue up to? He's peeling into the pit lane is what our championship contender is doing. Let's continue to watch Lawrence as he comes through Acre Minerale now. Up towards, or is it Variante Alto is the last one? Is that the one? Have I got my corner name correct?
I have no idea. I only know Mineral Water and Tamburello, that's it.
I'll tell you what, let's get a track map up.
Tier is 3/10 up in Sector 1, Sumo.
Oh, he's moving quick. Here's Tier, the man in the Mercedes. It is Variante Alto, look at that, I'm correct. Coming through Ravazza now though, here's Lawrence then on the Inters. He's choosing the same green wall tyre. Can he get himself up in the mix? As well as looking relatively quick. It's P3 for the Red Bull, out his teammate by a 10th. So I think we're reaching that changeable period where the two tyres are more or less the same, but the Inters are starting to have a slight advantage over the rest. Let's watch Tier as he continues his lap 2 tenths up, coming out of Variante Alto now. The run down to Ravazza. I said it earlier, why did I forget the corner name? Anyway, the Mercedes coming around the final 2 corners now.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's been he didn't gain much in Sector 2, and he looked a bit shaky through the chicane, but you can never tell in these conditions whether it's good or not, and it is good. It's pole for Tier for now. 7.5 minutes left in the session, but a 28.071 is the new time to beat, and Robsu just peeling out of the pit lane on the intermediate tyres now.
Yeah, I'd have to say though, Lawrence is 7 tenths up on his previous. I'm not sure how accurate that is. We'll see as he comes across here. He's at 1.1 seconds, so the track really is drying up as Lawrence comes through Variante Alto down towards the Ravazzas now to finish off the lap. Only 4 corners really make up the final sector here at Imola, but round comes the Red Bull, navigating them, keeping it nice and straight as he comes through. No kickback from the car or the rear end of it as he comes along. This could be a quick one. It's looking like it's going to be a 27.5.
Yeah. He lost some time in that final sector because he ran out of ERS just after the chicane. So
Krauser
there's
P2.
definitely another few tenths there. Yeah, Krauser on Inters. Pretty much everyone on Inters now. Robstu on his outlap, so keep an eye on the Ferrari driver. Elby is still in the pits for now. I hear he has a new helmet, so we'll have to take a look at that once he exits the pit lane. But Tito also out on the Inters. Good to see him on track for the Tier 2 finale, the year's finale in terms of the game. Because I haven't seen too much of him this season, unfortunately, but always good to see him here.
Yes, it's always good to see some drivers who don't quite always get to make it to every single race. Here comes Robsu. I think he's on his outlap though, so we'll wait along as we go. I think Crozer and Lawrence are both on outlap, so let's follow along then with Robsu as we go on a lap around the Imola circuit. It's a long way down towards the Tamburello chicane as you go along, and it's quite a tricky braking zone in these conditions. Braking just after the 100 board there, and really got to attack these curves to try and get the best out of the chicane. And now you come through the next corner on the run down to the Villeneuve chicane now. A quick flick to the left and then you slow down quite a bit for the right-hand corner, especially in these conditions. Then we move up to Tosa, braking at the 50 board, really late apex, and then bringing the car right out wide again to get the best run up the hill towards Piratella now. Turn number 9, another quick flick to the left. It's a little less quick in these conditions though. Down to 4th gear goes the Ferrari, and on the run down towards Acque Minerali now. It's a very tricky section of circuit. 2 corners that come right at you in a braking zone as well, and then you've got to get on the traction as you go up the hill on the run down towards Variante Alta. Another tricky braking zone. It's the fastest middle sector for Robsu as well. He's a 10th up on his previous best, so this can see him get in amongst the likes of Lawrence and Krauser there at the top 2. Down towards Ravazza comes the Ferrari now. 2 more corners for him to navigate. Braking just after the 100 board there and getting nice and close to the apex. Carrying that speed through toward the last corner here. Getting down on the power as early as he possibly dares and down towards the line. What time is the Ferrari going to set for this run? It's a 27.7, 2 tenths away.
Yeah, not far off at all. Tilo has backed off, so he won't improve this attempt. Little Maniman's on a lap. Is Crozer improving? Yes, by 1.5 tenths. So this could see him, if he can gain some time in the final sector, could see him getting ahead of Robsu onto the front row, or at least consolidating his P3 at the moment from Tier, who's currently on an outlap. LB still in the pit lane at the moment, but Crozer coming to the final couple of corners in the track. Can he hook them up well? It's looking decent from the British driver, and down to the line he goes. He's gotten on the traction, hugs the wall on the inside, and it's pole by 4 thousandths. He did get a good final sector, and Crozer setting the pace by such a small margin. And this quali session, there's only 8 drivers, Sumo, but this is looking like a fire quali session.
Tier 2 always brings promise, no matter how big or small the grid may be. Lawrence is coming round now. I don't think this is going to be the quickest of laps from the Red Bull driver, but let's see as he comes through. Is he peeling in? He is peeling in to the pit lane. How about Tier? He's on an outlap, so we'll wait for the result of his efforts out there at the moment. Here comes Maniman for Ravazza 2.
That was a very bad exit out the final corner from Tier. That's going to compromise his run all the way down to turn 1. So not ideal for him. Lil Maniman just, was he just starting a lap, Sumo?
Lil Maniman, I think he was finishing a lap, but he didn't improve all that much, I believe. So we'll wait and see. Krauser, he's just on a cooldown, so let's watch along with Tier then on his previous effort. Can he get any closer to the front as he goes? Again, one of the rain masters out there. He does like a wet race, does Tier, but he's not had the best of luck in them. I mean, this isn't a wet race though, this is wet qualifying. Slightly different procedure for both. You've got to be the fastest guy out there, not the most consistent, and that's very wide through Piratella, and I think Tier might just back off on that one. He has.
Yeah, he was slow in sector 1 as well, as was Robsu there, a 10th off in the first sector, which is surprising. I would expect the Finnish driver to be right up there, challenging for pole. I mean, he's only 2 tenths off, but he doesn't seem to be improving at the moment, but that was very clean through that corner just before Acque Minerale, and now coming through that tricky section now and down towards the chicane. What's it going to be on the timing boards? It's going to be 2 tenths up, exactly at 1.195 seconds up on his best, which is exactly how far behind Crozer he is. So if he can hook up this third sector, he will take pole away. 1.5 minutes to go, so there's still time for him to set another one after this.
There we go then, it's an old rivalry. It's Ferrari versus Williams. Can Robsu get himself on the top step? At least provisionally. We've got 1 minute and 16 seconds left of this qualifying session as Robsu comes across. It's a 27.4. This qualifying session heats up once again as the top step changes. What about Tito, man? He's on an improvement, but I'm not sure how close this will get him to the front. Maybe he'll be looking to get ahead of Womax and LB, who, well, he's not going to have time to make another run. I think he's trying to make a bit of a challenge for himself, Ghost.
Quite possibly. He could also just be busy. Tito Man peels into the pits. He mocked up the last part of his lap. Lil Manny Man is on a lap as well, but I don't think he was up on his previous best. Tier coming through sector 2, is he improving? That's the question. Comes through Acque Minerale down towards the sector line. We're about to find out. Is Tier improving? No, he's 3.5 tenths down. Crozer on an outlap. He's not going to have time. That's his quali session over. Lawrence just coming around the final corner to start his final attempt with 20 seconds to go, so he's timed it well. Can he get himself onto pole? It's less than a tenth between the top three.
Yes, indeed. I think Tim might just have time to go once again, where he's just come out of Ravazza 2, although a poor exit. That's not going to help him for his efforts at the moment, but he's just crossed the line with a second or so to spare, so he can go again, but a checkered flag has now been waved. So if you're on a lap now, well, this is it. This is your final chance. Robsu, he's down on his previous at the moment. Can he improve at all in his third sector? It is. It's a 27.1. That's the new target to beat then for everybody out on track. Kraus is invalidated. That's his session over. How about Lawrence? He's coming through Piratella now.
I think it's up to Lawrence here in the Red Bull to unseat Robsu. Crozer ran out of time to start a new lap. Tier is on a lap as well, but he's spun, it looks like, in Sector 1. So it's all down to Lawrence. Here we go through the chicane, but he's not up on his previous best. He needs a lightning fast final sector to challenge Robsu here. Coming down towards the last two corners, it was a careful chicane, but it didn't look massively quick, but we'll see as he comes down to those last two corners. Can Crozer steal the front row by 0.004 of a second?
Can Lawrence steal the front row by well, Crozer, yeah, I suppose, but here comes Lawrence then. Can he get himself into it at the moment? Oh, I don't know.
It's a 27.2. He was a tenth off Robsu, but he is on the front row.
There we go then, steals away the front row from Krauser, who, well, put in a great little lap there for it, but we'll run through your grid for tonight's race. Robsu then is the man on pole position in his Ferrari, right where he would want to be. Lawrence going to line up alongside him in his Red Bull to make up the front row. Then there's Krauser and Tier, the British pairing, getting themselves onto the row number 2. Then there's Little Manny Man and LB, P5 and 6. Womax, after retirement, only good enough for P7, with Tito Man rounding off your grid in position number 8.
Just a 25% race, will be 16 laps of Imola. But I'm sure they're going to be action-packed and fun to watch, and who knows, if LB DNFs, the stakes will raise very sharply for Robsu. But I'm sure Lawrence is going to fight tooth and nail to try and get his teammate the title if he can.
Yes, certainly so. Let's see what the weather's going to be like. Nobody's updated us, and well, there's 4 people now watching in the chat, and one person has not liked the stream. That one person knows exactly who they are. Please do like the stream, as it does help me out plenty, and subscribe if you've not done so already to not miss any more tier 2 action. As well, we're going to take a little break after this season ends, probably about a month or so, to let people acclimatise and get some more folks back into positions to get themselves on the grid, and then we'll hopefully be back for season number 8.
Season 8 of Tier 2.
Of Tier 2. Be 9 of Tier 1. Yeah. And I don't know, like 4 of Elite?
7 of Elite.
Really?
Yeah.
Elite's been going on that long?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And hopefully we can bring back sprints.
Yes. Hopefully. And then hopefully I can get back on the grid. That'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
Gosh. Let's have a good one, lads. I'm normally safe and try to make it to the end, but I'll lick the stamp and send it. Oh, there's a fighting words from Tito Man in the chat. He's going to pull off a Danny Rick if he can, but we're underway and it's dry conditions to the to the delight of the drivers out there, I'm sure. But let's have a look at the tyre strategy then, and well, it's a 25% race, so the strategy is going to be different, and well, many drivers opting for the soft compounded tyre, although Robsu on mediums, LB on hard, so hard soft likely for LB. I think he should have probably gone for the mediums in all honesty, but what's your take, Ghost?
I think you were right in qualifying. He's just giving himself a challenge. I think is what's happening, because hards in a 25% race is just completely nonsensical. So yeah, he's given himself a challenge, and why not? He's 20 points ahead, but if he does bin it into a wall, he's only got himself to blame. Yeah, Robsu on the mediums I think is really interesting though. He's going to be under huge pressure early on from all the drivers behind him, especially Lawrence and Crozer. And he's going to have to soak up that pressure and gain enough of an advantage, or keep his advantage enough that he can strap on a set of softs at the end and whiz straight back past them.
Yes, for sure. He's going to come under a lot of pressure. Maybe even Tyr might get involved in it as well, but he'll be a lot faster in that second stint before taking the harder compound earlier, so it could come back to pay off for the Finnish driver, but we'll have to wait and see. We're waiting for the green flags, drivers lining up on the grids. We've got 16 laps of racing around Imola, the final 16 laps of F1 22, or Tier 2, APPF1 of course. And well, we're lining up, and Lawrence really giving those tyres a good old burnout before lining up on the grid. Robsu's been disqualified. He's not parked correctly in his box. That's not going to help his launch at the start. Let's find someone to ride on board with because of this awful glitch in the spectator system. But we got 5 red lights. They're out, and we are almost underway. Off we go for the last time here for season number 7. And we're off, and it's a great start from Krauser, who is rocketing ahead. He's going to try to look to make it free ride as they come down towards the first chicane at the moment. And it's contact between the Red Bull and the Ferrari. And, well, they're coming together. Krauser now leads this race. Lawrence in P2. Robsu's lost out big time to the soft compound runners. He's down in P3 at the moment as the cars seem to settle as they come through Villeneuve.
Yeah, LB's lost out as well on those hards, and Lawrence putting pressure on Crozer, but Robsu dives down the inside to try and take advantage. Can't quite do it at the moment, but Lawrence and Crozer are going to go side by side all the way through Sector 2 here. Crozer backs out sensibly, and Lawrence now leads the race, but what a chaotic start. And I mean, I hope none of them have damage, but I'd be surprised if none of them did, as Tyr comes through as well. Aqua Minerale, he's trying to put pressure on, but Robsu gets a great exit, looking to try and maybe put a dive on Crozer, but that would be very, very brave at that particular chicane.
Yes, it would, but it's all one by one they go, but Robsu's piling on the pressure now. He's getting in Krauser's mirrors. He's letting him know that he's still there at the moment. Tyr's having to fend off little Manny Man for the time being as well. Tyr's races with Lawrence, but Lawrence is about 2 cars ahead of the Mercedes driver, and here comes Robsu. Lawrence says the fastest lap for the time being. Robsu chasing away. Whoa. But here comes Krauser. Look at the straight line speed of that Williams as he soars past. And Robsu's going to try it as well. Lawrence cuts the corner and almost blocks off Robsu. That could be a bit of a drama for the stewards later on, but Robsu's managed to get ahead, and he's going to look to the inside now. Villeneuve on the Williams, but he thinks a little bit better of it.
There's perhaps a wet setup on that Red Bull, or some problem, mechanical problem, because that straight line speed was abysmal down the straight. Either that or he just wasn't using ERS and was caught by surprise. It could well be that as well. But Robsu up to P2. Crozer leads the race. Tito spun in Sector 1, so he's down to 8th. And LB still holding on down there in 7th place at the moment. But everyone's piling through one by one by one by one. It's all of the top 6 within a second of each other. This is great racing.
Yeah, we should add in these little 25% races more often, perhaps, into the full season. But it's a big mix-up at the moment, isn't it? And LB said in the chat he's playing it safe. Why exactly?
Well, he doesn't want a DNF. He just wants to secure the title, I suppose. But it's a bit of a wuss's game, isn't it?
Yeah,
you've got to go for the win.
Yeah, you've got to go for the win, haven't you? And well, someone who's doing that is Krauser. He recognises an opportunity to perhaps win a race, and he's taken it with full grip. A man who's really come alive in these latter stages of the season, and well, I'd say he was really gunning for it in the early stages as well. look back to Monza. If it wasn't for extreme luck helping out Dart off, it would have been a Williams 1-2.
It would have been indeed. And yeah, Crozer's been really on it this season, I've got to say. It's been very much a top four in terms of performance, the Ferraris and Red Bulls this season. But Crozer and JB as well have been challenging them at points in the season, have been disrupting that hierarchy as Lawrence goes down the inside to try and make a move on Robsu, but the Ferrari with the superior straight line speed nearly goes into the back of Crozer as a result.
It was a bit of a poor exit from Robsu, and Lawrence dove on the chance to try and get in there. The three of them are nose to tail at the moment as they come down the straight. DRS open for the Ferrari. Crozer is going to get eaten up. Robsu gets past. Here comes Lawrence as well in Robsu's slipstream, and straight past the Williams he goes. Robsu now leads this race on his mediums. He's doing exceptionally well to fight amongst these soft runners whose tyres, well, they'll soon start to feel the pressure and feel the wear of the track as they keep going.
They certainly will, and everyone's fighting as Crozer goes onto the gravel there, very, very wide, and could open the door for Womack to go round the outside as Crozer still struggles on those tyres that are going to be gravel-ridden, and he falls off the DRS of the top two as well. He's going to have to hope that they battle in the next period of this lap so he can catch back up, but Womack might have something to say about that as they go through Acqua Minerale.
Yeah, and Lawrence is all over the back of Robsu as well. He's not letting him go at the moment, still reminding the Ferrari driver that he's there. And there's battles all over the track, and they're all very, very close together. LB might have just played this quite well, actually, on the hard tyres, because once these all come in, he's going to have a clear track.
Yeah, he certainly will. But, you know, he could have just gone on the mediums and had the same situation, but, you know... but Robsu still leads Lawrence half a second back, setting the fastest lap as well in the Ferrari as Robsu. But here comes Lawrence with the DRS. Crozer's fallen well off, and he's under pressure from Womack as well. But Lawrence doesn't have the straight line speed to overtake into turn one, but Womack definitely does, and he's up to P3. Yeah. Oh, as Crozer nearly spins, he does spin. Oh no! In the Williams on the exit of the first chicane, Crozer spins round. Disaster for the Williams driver, and that's so undeserved after he was driving well, as Tier goes in the gravel as well.
That's the commentator's coincidence striking once again here in Tier 2. It happens all too often and is the bane of many drivers' existence. I'm sure Krauser won't be too delighted in the Discord, but you know, these things happen, and there's still plenty of time left in the race, although we're approaching 10 laps remaining. As he spun again out of Tosa. Yeah. Hot tyres really striking him now. Maybe an early stop for the Williams onto some medium tyres. But it's still a little battle raging on, but Lawrence does not seem to have too much straight line speed in his Red Bull.
No, he really doesn't, and Robsu controlling this race at the moment on those medium tyres. He did really, really well to get back ahead on those mediums and stayed calm when the two ahead were battling, and just picked his moment and went round the outside of Lawrence after he got a poor entry into one, and the rest is history. But Lawrence now putting the pressure on still, but again, without straight line speed, it's going to be difficult to get past. The undercut is perhaps the way to go for Lawrence, unless he can go round the outside here at the hairpin. He's going to do exactly that with the superior grip. Robsu's got the better straight line speed. They're going to go side by side all the way through this sector, touching wheels as they go through the corner, as Robsu takes the inside line and keeps the lead. Brilliant racing.
Phenomenal stuff between those two. That was so close. Barely a piece of paper between the two of them. And Lawrence isn't done yet. He's having a look to the inside of Variante out, and not quite a way through there. It's a tight chicane, that one, and he's going to be close to him at the back as they come through. Ravazza quite out of character. Womack's pit early. He never really pits early. I don't think I've seen him pit early in a race before, but he's managed to do it. So can he get an undercut on those ahead of him? We'll wait to see. Lawrence is in though.
Yeah, he's going to go for the undercut on those medium tyres. And oh, little Manning Man, I thought he braked too late. That's a 5-second penalty, and that could put paid to his hopes of a podium today, but we'll see. There could still be a safety car before the end. Robsu now leads by nearly 6 seconds from LB, and Lawrence exiting the pits just now. It's a very, very long pit lane, so here comes Wumax down towards turn 1 as well, so keep an eye on that Alfa Romeo. He could jump all 3 of them here, could the Bulgarian. I think it's just going to be the 2. Yeah, it is. Lawrence ahead, but a good strategy from Wumax getting the undercut done.
Yes, it is. But Womack isn't too far behind. He's only 0.4 or 1.4 seconds behind Lawrence, and he's going to have those tyres up to temperature already, so he could close in on Lawrence before he really gets going. But I think he might just be just out of touching distance, so could be fine. But more interestingly, the gap to LB and Lawrence, 21.3 seconds.
Indeed, you're going to lose about 27 seconds in this pit lane. It's a very long one. So LB going to be back behind, I think, Lil Manny Man once he exits the pit lane. But he could still get on the podium today, could the Red Bull driver. And just got to hold himself together with Lil Manny Man's 5-second penalty. I think LB should get on the podium without too much trouble. Now that Crozer is out of the running, unless a safety car rears its ugly head. I'm just having a look at his new helmet. I'm assuming it's a champion-elect helmet, which would be really funny if he does DNF and loses the championship.
Oh dear, wouldn't it just? But we'll wait and see. I mean, putting on the hards, that's another risk for a spin, isn't it? They're not the best as far as grip goes, and once they start to lose any sort of grip, they do become very temperamental, especially around here as well. They're not the best around here, I would say.
No, they're not the best at all. I've had a race around here before where I had decent pace, but I crashed in qualifying, screwed it up completely. And started on the hards thinking that it would be a good decision. Or no, I started on mediums and then pitted to hards up to an early safety car thinking, right, I'll get these to the end, it'll be great. I couldn't get past anyone because the hards were so bad, and just ended up outside of the pit stop range because I lost so much time of the guys that I was actually racing. So they can be particularly bad around here as LB spins just to prove the point. He's in the gravel, and that would have been heart in mouth for the British driver.
Oh my god, I'm taking 2 minutes. I don't think you can call that playing it safe, LB. I don't know what you're thinking. Do you want to throw away the championship? I mean, sure, it'd be nice for Robsu to be crowned Tier 2 champion only on his first full season, I suppose. But I don't know. I'm sure he'd want to win it in a bit more of a racing scenario rather than LB deciding he's just gonna not show up.
Yeah, but you know, it's you can either be an interesting champion or a boring champion, and LB's chosen his path. But no, he's well within his rights to just bring it home, as Tito gets himself a 3-second time penalty. But interestingly enough, though, that spin from LB cost him around 10 seconds, and that's going to mean it's going to be really difficult, actually, for him to get a podium here, because he's got to still get past Wumax to get himself a podium, and he's going to come out well behind him. And even Lil Manny Man will be tough to beat, even with his 5-second penalty for the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, he'll be on the softs though for sure, so that will help him. He'll probably come in, I'd expect maybe at the end of lap 12 or 11 for the tyres. Maybe as early as at the end of this lap perhaps, but I think 5 to 6 laps is the best sort of tyre life you'll get out of the softs.
Yeah, around about that distance. After that, it starts to become not worth it. So it's got to start thinking about coming into the pits pretty soon. Same with Robsu. Robsu currently 25 seconds, 25.7 seconds behind Lawrence, so he will come out behind the Red Bull as it stands. But with those softs, he will catch straight back up, and I think we're going to have a very tasty battle for the race win right at the end of this race. As Robsu stays out for one more lap, I think he'll come in at the end of this one.
Yeah, it seems like we are going to have a little bit of a fight toward the end. What about LB? Is he peeling into the pit lane? He is. He's in at the end of lap 10.
Indeed, as Tier gets himself a penalty as well. LB is in, so he's going to head onto the soft tyres until the end. Where's he going to come out? He's going to come out well behind even Tier. Tier's coming around the last corner now, and LB's nowhere near the end of the pit lane. So, yeah, there goes the Mercedes now. So LB going to have to work hard to get himself into the top 5 here.
Yes, he is, and he's going to have the pace to do it on those soft tyres at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on his progress. He's finally out of the pit lane and back out onto the track. Just don't give it too much pepper out there, LB, while those tyres are cold. Just get them nice and up to temperature and get into the rhythm. But Max is keeping Lawrence honest here. He's not dropped too far away, although the difference in ERS is astounding.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Lawrence has saved a huge amount as Robsu's into the pit lane for the soft tyres. He was about 25 seconds behind Lawrence. He could come out behind Womax here, which would put in an extra complication for the Finnish driver in his quest for this race win. He's just exiting the pit lane now, but it's a long, long way to go. And Lawrence coming around the final corner now. Here he goes onto the main straight. Where's he going to come out in relation to the Ferrari? Robsu just getting to the end of the pit lane now, but I think he's going to be jumped by both of these guys. There's Robsu on the right. It's going to be close as Robsu comes out just ahead of Womax, but for how long? Womax sends it down the inside, but thinks better of it. Robsu's got to get those tyres up to temperature, so Womax could send one into the next few corners, but I think that's game over. Womax has no ERS either, and Robsu just ahead of the Bulgarian, and that's critical for him. But Lawrence has a huge amount of ERS left.
He does, incredibly close between those two there. Womax is within a second, so he'll challenge Robsu for a little bit perhaps, but he's not going to have too much to challenge with his ERS situation being as it is. So Robsu now then, it's his task to chase after Lawrence, and well, it's game on for the next 13, 14, 15, 16, 4 laps as well, setting faster sectors already as Robsu, as he's already closed to within a second. You can see the difference the grip is making at the moment, and well, he's catching right up to the back of Lawrence here.
Yeah, he really wants the fastest lap as well, Robsu, because that's an extra point just in case he does come second here. But here we go, he's using the ERS already. He's going for it. Lawrence sets the fastest lap in the meantime, but here comes Robsu. Look at the straight line speed on that Ferrari. Sends it around the outside. Lawrence squeezes him onto the grass. Robsu puts it all the way around the outside. Has the inside for turn 2. Lawrence is going to try and fight him. He's still got the ERS to do it. They touch as they go down the straight. LB sets fastest lap behind them, but Robsu has the inside line, and he keeps the position for now. Nearly goes wide at the exit, but that's Robsu into the lead of the race, and I think that is where he will stay unless anything dramatic happens to him. Lawrence trying to fight with him, but those soft tyres I think are just going to be too much for the Red Bull through the next part of this lap, and Lawrence could well drop out of DRS.
He certainly could. Now buying stuff for Rick in the chat at the moment, but Robsu now into the lead of this race, using those soft tyres to great effect to nimbly pass Lawrence in his Red Bull at the moment. Can Lawrence come back perhaps? Who knows? Although I think Robsu's going to now start to just stretch his legs, although he's used all of his ERS to pull that move off, and I think Lawrence has used all of his ERS available as well, so they're all within the a bit of an ERS deficit at the moment. Meanwhile, LB, he's struggling a bit actually on those soft tyres. I think he's just taking it a bit too easy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the fastest lap as well, Sumo, so he did push on that last lap, but he's within those 3 seconds of Tier. that will get him into the top 5. But I think Lil Manny Man will be a stretch to get within 5 seconds of him. So I think the McLaren driver could secure a very, very respectable P4 here, as long as I haven't just cursed him.
No, indeed. But they've only got a couple more laps left to go, and I think, well, it looks like mathematically speaking, Tier won't win the championship. That would be a bloody miracle, wouldn't it? LB would still be crowned your champion, I think.
He will be. He will indeed. It will be Robsu 23 points from today. LB will be 15 thanks to his fastest lap, and that will be an 8-point catch from Robsu, but he's 20 behind, so he needs a lot more than that. As Tier gets himself another time penalty, so that all but confirms LB into P5. As it must have been a mistake from the Mercedes driver. And I think his bid for P4 in the championship is also over. Actually, no, it's not, because he'll be ahead of Darth. So Tier will be P4 in the championship.
Yes, he will. So, well, Tier would have had a great little run there. If he can, would he be P4? Yeah, he will be P4.
Yeah, because Darth.
Yes, of Darth. And Tito Man's had a spin at Ackerman already.
Tier's coming in the pits. He's going for fastest lap, Sumo, with a couple laps to go. But look who's still within DRS range. Lawrence stays within 6 or 7 tenths. Robsu, I think, starting to struggle in those softs already, which is remarkable. And it's not over yet. There's still 1.5 laps to go. Lawrence could try and send one into turn 1. Neither of them got much ERS left, but a mistake from Robsu, and Lawrence will pounce to get that race win. He's not had the season he was hoping for in that Red Bull, but if he can get one last race win here from the nose of one of his rivals, that would be a great end to this game. LB still in P5 and 10 seconds away from Lil Manny Man, so he would need a mistake from the McLaren to secure P4. And Womax just driving a very safe race to the podium at the moment.
Yes, I don't know if Lawrence managed to get DRS on that occasion. No, he wasn't close enough, so he's not really going to get a boost down there. I think Robsu's got this safe. We're on to the final lap of the race at the moment, and well, it's Robsu trying to fend off Lawrence, who is 1.2 seconds down the road. I think he might just do it, but there's no ERS between either of them, 5% between the both of them at the moment. Lawrence gets a 3-second time penalty now.
And that's definitely his bid for the race win over. And Womax is only 3.6 behind, so Lawrence has got to be careful not to make a mistake here, or he'll allow the Bulgarian to secure P2. But they're coming through Sector 2 now, I think. Robsu is going to secure this race win. He's done everything he possibly could to try and win this title, but that missed race at the start of the season is going to end up costing him big time.
Yes, it is, and it could have very much been the difference between being in LB's shoes or not being in LB's shoes. But he's going to come around the final couple of corners now in the Ferrari to finish off the season. It's been a great little run from the Ferrari driver. He's had a great season, and there'll be plenty more to come from him, I'm sure. But he comes across the line to win the final race of season number 7. Lawrence comes across the line as well. Will Womax claim P2? He will. It's a very close margin, but he's managed to do it at 500ths of a second. He grabbed that by. Amazing. But around the final corner now, here he comes, LB then, the man who said he was only going for the constructors, is going to be your first double world champion for Tier 2 APPF1, and he does some donuts across the line as well. Don't crash it now, and he goes across the line in racing gear as well to come home and win to come home P5 and win the Tier 2 championship. What a great season we've had.
Yes, that's fastest lap as well. But Crows is going for it as well. Don't forget, in that Williams, he could grab it at the end to break the hearts of Tier supporters in the chat.
I hope Scott Marshall is not watching right now. He's one of Tier's biggest fans out there. Let's see, Krauser coming round from Vatsa for the final time as well. In his Williams, can he snatch that fastest lap away from the Mercedes driver? Yes,
he can. Very close. I think a couple of tenths in it. And Crozer snatches it. And also he snatched 7th place from the Mercedes driver because of all of Tier's penalties. So, but I think Crozer will still be disappointed with how this race went. But at least he got that consolation at the end.
Yeah, added a bit of insult to injury there for Tier, but no worries. But there he is, Rob Sue, in his familiar red suit. I suppose we'll head over to the interviews channel to interview our drivers and I suppose our champion as well. Game, don't crash on me, game, please. I already did that today. Let's not do it again. On tier 2. It says the drama is over. What a season. Yes, it has been a fantastic season of racing. And to round you off one final time on this year's F1 2022 game, we will have you run through the results. It's Robsu on the top step of the podium, flanked by Womack and Lawrence in the Red Bull. Only 0.05 of a second between the pair after Lawrence's penalty. Little Manny Man comes home in P4. A great little result for the McLaren driver, with LB rounding off the top 5, but is crowned your 2-time Tier 2 champion. Then there's Tier in P6, Krauser P7, and Tito Man will come home in P number 8.
I think that was a good end to F1 22. Nice, fun little race around Imola. The battle for the lead, battle for the podium positions. One of the podium positions being taken by half a tenth. A fastest lap race at the end as well. I think that was a decent finish.
Yes, for sure. Tito Man in the chat says that was poor showing from me, and I can't say I'll miss F1 22. Congratulations to the champion of Tier 2, and thanks to all of you at APPF1 for a great year of league racing, and we do it again soon. Yes, we will. We will be back as soon as we possibly can. Probably sometime toward the like the end or middle of July, maybe. Somewhere around that time. Who knows really, but we'll certainly be back, and we'll keep your eye out for any other little events going on. Tito, as a member of the community, and well, we're gonna have a little last hurrah in a little while as well. If you want to join for that, head over to the open lobbies channel. There we go. I'm not sure we're going to get a Womack. I don't think he normally turns up to interviews.
Yeah, unlikely.
No. Who do we want to do first, Ghost?
Let's speak to the podiums, and then we'll speak to LB.
Yes, of course. We'll save the champion of the world for last. Right. Well, Robsu, then, it wasn't... Well, it's been a great little season there, and, well, you could look back and think, oh, if I hadn't have missed that first race, it could have been a closer fight at the top, but I think just from where you've been all season long and the racing that you've been doing, I think... Can you look back and say that wasn't a bad job?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy with these kind of results. I think. Well, yeah, like you said, you know, if I would have been in the first race, things could have been different. But you know, it is what it is. I'm happy with this. No complaints.
Very cool, and it was a nice little race out there. You had a great little battle at the beginning. You had a great fight with Krauser and Lawrence toward the front, and well, you went for the medium tyre, and well, it paid off in the end with the faster tyre winning out. And well, just run us through your race and from your perspective.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you know, this track suits me very well, so I was really confident with it, and yeah, and setup was great. I did a minor changes to it, but and that paid off also, and yeah, it was at the start of the race I thought that did I do a wrong choice? Started with medium tires, but no, I think it was the right choice. Right choice after all.
Yeah, well, it certainly paid off and saw you come home on the top step. So it was a great job for you there. And well, I think one last question is, since this is the last race of F1 22, what did you think? What was it? What was your verdict of this year's Formula One game? Did you love it, hate it, not too bothered? What was it?
Well, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was kind of a middle ground, but well, it could have been better also. But you know, no love, no hate. It was okay. It was okay.
It was okay, amazing. And are you coming back swinging for next season when we do eventually come back?
Absolutely.
Amazing. I'll look forward to seeing it, and I'm sure Ghost does as well. Thank you, Rob Sue, for taking part. You've been an amazing driver out on the track, and we're very much excited to see you out on the circuit very soon. But thank you very much.
Thank you, and congrats to LB for the title and also both Red Bulls. Great job.
There we go. I'll pass over to Ghost to have a talk to Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence, a constructor's title for you. I believe that's your first APPF1 title, if I'm not mistaken. So congratulations. A great season all the way through. A few moments which I think you might look back on and think could have gone better, but overall, a constructor's title. And yeah, I think you can be happy with how it's panned out.
Yeah, it's been all right. Still having nightmares about the second Lesma at Monza. That one lives in the memory and be quite painful. Yeah, it's been a good year. It's been some good hard racing. Today was a good hard race with Robster as well. Congratulations on the win to him. He was very fast. I knew the moment he was well onto the soft tyres, he was going to be impossible to stop. Yeah, also congratulations to LB. He quietly chomped away at results, and yeah, 2-3 races ago, written in the stars for him, really.
Yeah, indeed it was after that fateful day in Monaco. But I think let's talk about this race. You had a good battle with Robsu and Crozer early on as well. But in the end, it was between you and Robsu, and we saw you catching up at the end, back again on those mediums. We thought once Robsu got past, that was probably going to be over, but you stayed with him for a while and then lost out again at the end. So can you tell us what happened? Was it a mistake, or did he just find some extra grip in those last few corners of the penultimate lap?
I just made a few mistakes. I ran deep in a couple of corners, and then I think it was the last lap. Was it the last lap? I might have got the 3-second penalty, or the penultimate lap. It was just pushing too hard. It was a do or die, really. So, yeah, it was a good start as well. I thought I had a good start, but Krauser had an unbelievable start from third, just out of nowhere. And yeah, it was a good race. It was a good, clean race, and it was hard, fair race, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great battles between the three of you, and long may it continue into F1 23. Let's ask you the same question that Sumo asked Rob. So, are you looking forward to the new game? How are you feeling about it? The early thoughts from others, what you've heard, and you eagerly waiting for it, or are you a bit apprehensive?
I've only played it for about 10 minutes just before this race. I did a few laps on time trial around Las Vegas, and I'd say the braking I found was the most different part, but also this new like precision control. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, I think.
Fair enough. Well, we are eagerly waiting, looking forward to seeing you there, whichever tier it may be. But regardless. Really enjoyed having you here in Tier 2 this season, and yeah, good to have you in APPF1. So great season, and thank you very much for being here, Lawrence.
Thank you very much. Yeah, still undecided which be my main tier to race, and we'll see how the new game pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the tiering system is going to be a bit more robust next season, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, good season, Lawrence. Congratulations on the title.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Great commentary as always. Keep it up.
Much appreciated. I'll hand over to Sumo to interview our two-time Tier 2 champion.
I think you'll find it's world champion, and yes, two-time Tier 2 world champion. LB, how does it feel?
The double champ does what the fuck he wants! Feels good. Feels good. Interesting season, I think, at the start. I was just maintaining it. Like Lawrence said, just chipping away at points. I saw, Darth, as fast as he was making like a few little mistakes. China, Bahrain, and obviously Monaco come to mind. So I think it was just trying to do what other people have done before. I remember Bumblebee and Tinners won their championships, not on winning every race, but just being consistent and making sure they're at the right place at the right time to get as many points as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a season that was like that. I mean, you weren't always on the top step, but you were there to pick up the pieces when the mistakes were made and such out there. And it was a race of just bringing it home today, was it?
Yeah, exactly. I think my last lap was like a 1:28. Just had to make sure that I made no mistakes, because I can live with not finishing Spa out of the 5 or 6 times I've been there. But if I crashed on like the last lap of a championship sort of lap in a sense, I'd probably, I'm deleting the game anyway, but I'd definitely do it a lot quicker than what I planned to. I wouldn't turn up for the open lobby. But yeah, it was just making sure everything was calm. To be honest, the race wasn't the easiest itself. I started on hards, which I meant to do, but I forgot there was 25%, so that was pointless. And then Robsu nearly won the championship because I went flying off at turn 2.
Saw.
Yeah, was tense.
Yeah, we caught you taking a little shortcut through the gravel trap out there, but thankfully didn't have a chance meeting with Barry R, Zach Sweeney's good old friend. Well, we'll ask the same question. You're looking forward to the new game, LB? What are your thoughts on this year's, this game that's we're about to see the back of? What are your thoughts?
I think this game is, as a whole, is just another letdown in sense from Codemasters. I know a lot of people say that it's overhated, but there's so many good ideas that they brought to the game that just weren't really fulfilled. I know when they brought out, they said they're going to bring F1 Life. I think everyone sort of thought we were going to be able to walk around the paddock, do a bit more sort of hands-on, but all F1 Life was paying 4,000 Bitcoin to wear a top that you never really see. It was just a bit pathetic. I know we've been taken over, sort of, not we, but I know Codemaster's been taken over by EA, but I think I took it to a new level. So I'll see what the reviews are next in the next game, and then I'll look at buying it. But yeah, if there's not good reviews, then don't know if I'll be buying it straight away. I may have to miss a season or 2 of APP, but hopefully not.
Oh dear. Oh, I mean, I can't say that I won't be missing anything. I've already pre-ordered my copy of the game, like a bit of a sheep. But it's the one sports game that I buy annually every year, so it's got to be done. But it's been another great season of Tier 2. Our first double world champion in the Tier 2 series as well. So a big congratulations, LB.
Appreciate it, guys, and thank you very much for the commentary as always.
It's our pleasure to bring the racing to you guys. We love it so much. Fido Man says in the chat, bring back the classic cars. You know what? I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him come back.
That'd be good.
I recently jumped in one of the classic McLarens on F1 2020 the other day, just for a thumbnail, but it was still... it was challenging, but it was still a bit of fun. But anyway, that's it. That's your lot. That's F1 22. That'll be... Well... how many seasons did we get through? 3, I want to say? 3 full seasons, maybe 4?
Yep, 3 full seasons.
3 full seasons, look at that. We had we've had LB now, we've had Darth, and who was the last champion?
It was Pommy Alex.
Pommy Alex, my god. That seems like so long ago. Yeah, it seems so long ago, but that's it, and I'm sure there's plenty more chapters to be written in the story of APPF1 Tier 2 when we get on to F123, or as I'm coining it, F123. Although many people have coined it that, I'm just taking credit for it. But anyway, that's it. That's your lot. Expect to see us back in maybe a month's time or so. In the meantime, keep an eye out for any shenanigans that might be taking place, either on this year's game or the new one that is just 3 days away. Or if you sold your soul to EA, you've got the Champions Edition and you're playing it right now probably, and have already uninstalled your copy of F122. But anyway, is there any final thoughts from you, Ghost?
Yeah, it's been a divisive year of F1. Let's put it that way. But nonetheless, I think we've had some great racing. We've had some great championship battles that are going to live long in the memory. And yeah, I think we're all looking forward to a fresh start with the new game. And I'm definitely looking forward to jumping back in the commentary box with you, Sumo, to cover some more Tier 2.
Amazing. Well, in the meantime, do take care of yourself. A big thank you to everybody who has been following along for the 3 seasons that we've had, and all of the seasons, and all of the times that we've been commentating and racing and everything here at APPF1, and just for myself as well. All of the support really does go a very long way, and I appreciate all of you so very, very much. But that's it. That's F122, folks. We'll see you next time for F123, and for what will be the 8th season of the Tier 2 Championship here in APPF1. But for now, I have been Sumo.
I have been Ghost.
And we will see you very, very soon. Good night.